Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, all. Tony, how you going?
I'm well. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. Not too bad, thank you. Um, so my name is Joe, and this is my brother Tony, and we're just going to give you a bit of a rundown as to why we're going to do this. So, firstly, good morning to everyone. Good afternoon or good evening, depending on what time you're watching this video. So, firstly, just a very brief introduction of myself and of Tony. I'll do the introduction of the both of us, but I'll get into Tony's introduction. I'll let Tony introduce himself in a much more deeper sense in a moment. But basically, I'm a PE teacher and I'm also a principal leader of a tutoring company. And this is my brother Tony, who works for a property investment company called Ironfish. And basically, in a very brief nutshell, he strives to improve or educate people and gives them advice and strategies into investing into properties. And I suppose that's going to drive our aim of why we're doing this video and why we're doing these fortnightly sessions on YouTube, just to give everyone an insight into investing and why everyone should invest and why everyone must invest, I suppose. And that's our aim. So to provide value to the Australian population and make them aware of everything around investing. So that's our umbrella of the aim, and then everything that falls under that umbrella will be, I suppose, our talking points and our topics into these episodes. So some of the themes that we might discuss and talk about in the coming episodes will be, I suppose, why everyone should invest, the attitudes towards investing, I suppose, the common mistakes and common misconceptions, and then also the benefits into investing as well. We might also, share these videos on my LinkedIn profile, and then which will open up for you guys to give us comments and to provide us with talking points, so that we can draw on Tony's expertise to answer that as well. So that's enough of me talking for now. That's me giving us the insight as to why we're doing this. So I'll pass it over to Tony so that he can actually give you a very, very in-depth introduction about what he does and why it's important that we've brought Tony on board into this video.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for the introduction. So firstly, I think the purpose is very important. There are many channels out there, many videos out there who educate people on investing, properties, shares, and other asset classes. So I think what we bring is our own perspective as to what we think about investing, and just sharing from a personal experience, and hopefully through that unique perspective, because both Joe and I are in, I guess, our early stages. I just turned 31. Joe is about to turn 28. So hopefully that kind of perspective can relate to other people in the early to late 20s and even early 30s, and provide them with a very good perspective as how we can help in terms of adding value to your investment journey. So a little bit about myself. I actually come from an accounting background. I studied at Macquarie Uni with an accounting degree and got my CA qualifications 4 years later. And I've spent 8 years in the corporate world across Coca-Cola and Woolworths Group before joining Ironfish as a property investment strategist. So all in all, 8 years, and I've been now at Ironfish for just under 2 years. And from an investing point of view, I began investing in properties since 2010. so when I was 20. So I've been a property investor since 2010, so all in all, just over 10 years. So hopefully through that experience, I'm able to provide some value and share my personal experience with you alongside with Joe's, who is also an investor. So hopefully both of us combined can add a lot of value to the audience, and look forward to sharing our insights and hopefully answer some of your questions with this webinar going forward.
Okay, thanks for that, Tony. I'll give a more of an introduction about what I do, and then we'll get into our investing paths. Tony's investing paths, up until today, and also my investing path as well. So, as I said previously, I'm a PDHPE teacher. I'm a high school trained PDHPE teacher. I studied at the Australian College of Physical Education, so ACPE in Olympic Park. And then now I'm basically set in a primary school, a very new established school called St. Luke's in Marsden Park, and we're a K-12 school. As I said, we're still establishing and still growing. So at the moment, we're a K-9 school, but each year as we progress, we'll slowly fill that spot up of, the K-12 establishment. As I said previously as well, I'm also a principal leader of a new established tutoring company called I'm Possible Academy. I believe that we're a very unique and different tutoring approach compared to most, where we look at the holistic values, developing the child holistically based on 4 core values, which I've also written about in a blog of mine. But again, I don't want to delve into too much about that, because our purpose is about investing, and our purpose is to educate you guys and provide you of an insight about investing. So I'll stop my introduction there. But I'll pass it back over to Tony. Can you share with us your investing path? You touched on a little bit before how you kickstarted your investing career in your 20s, so exactly 10 years ago. So can you give us an insight as to why you started investing and why at 20?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was very much an accidental opportunity, because I think fortunately for us, and I can say the same for you, Joe, we are surrounded by investors within our family. So our aunt Priscilla, she's a very experienced investor in her own right. And in my early 20s, when I was 20, when I was still in my final year of university, Priscilla recommended a opportunity to Mum, and she thought that it would be beneficial for us to consider as a first investment opportunity for me personally. And with Mum's support, and given Priscilla's experience and track record, we had complete trust and faith in that recommendation. So that's really how it got started. I was still living at home at the time, which really helped. So I didn't have a lot of expenses. And with Mum's help with the deposit, that was the start of the journey. So I think it comes back to your environment. I think we're very fortunate, again, to be in a family where we believe in the benefits of investing. And 10 years on, there's been obviously lots of ups and downs, but we are now really seeing the fruit of that hard work we did at the very beginning, because investments do take time, and it's not an overnight story. Similar to many successful businesses out there, it's never an overnight success, as many people may think. It could take anywhere between 10 to 15 years to build a very, very successful business. And I think investing is no different. because it's such a long-term play. So that's how we got started.
Would you say it's hard to get into investing?
Yes and no. I think making the start, I think the most important thing is your mindset. Because depending again on your environment of how you grew up, the topic of wealth and money or investing is not really discussed at education, as you would know, being a teacher. Teachers don't teach us how to be rich or don't teach us how to get set up financially. So it's really something that we have to learn ourselves. And fortunately, we live in an age where we can leverage technology so much. So we can simply log onto the internet and have a browse, and see what kind of information we can get online. I guess the most common issue we run into based on our observations are that people have access to good information. However, they lack the ability to make sense of everything and take action accordingly. Because with information but no action, it doesn't really serve any benefits. So I think that's a major hurdle, and that's why Ironfish is here to help people to make sense of all the information out there and provide our own unique research and insights to help people take action so they can get started with their investment journey.
Awesome insight. So you touched on about the information. Now, I think this will drive one of the talking points, or a major talking point, into next episodes. I'll add on to what Tony was saying about information. There are a lot of information out there, but often these information can be negative when it comes to investing because of the amounts of, I suppose, capital that you need to use straight up, and that often throws people off. Would you agree with that, Tony, or what do you think of that?
Yeah, it's a good question in regards to capital, because there are different forms of investment. I'm not saying you should only consider investing in properties, because it does require a larger sum of money. And I think once you develop the right mindset and you feel that investing can be of benefit to you, then you would explore different options, not necessarily just have property. And I think developing the mindset takes the longest, and I think that's the major stumbling block for most people. So disregard the capital for now, but once you overcome that and made a decision that, okay, investing is for me, it can really set me up long term, then I'm going to do whatever I can to make it happen. And with capital, yes, it may hold you back to some extent, but things like shares, for example, I know a lot of people are looking into shares right now because of the falls recently in the share market. I think in March, the ASX was hovering around just above 7,000 points, and in mid-March it came back down to 3,500 points, so almost half, and then it's been rising ever since that point. So a lot of people see that as an opportunity to get into the share market, and you can invest with as little as $1,000. So most people should have that. But again, if people's priority is not investing, then it doesn't matter how much money they have or don't have. It's not going to matter. So that's I think, again, coming back to the mindset, and capital is a secondary issue, because you can always work on that. You can have a savings plan in place to build that capital up. You can get family support. There's so many avenues to things, but the most important thing is making that decision to make a start, and then I think everything comes after that.
Awesome. So you spoke about I suppose, a product of your environment, and I can really agree to that with that statement, because as Tony's career path into investing, I can somewhat relate to that. Now, when I first started investing, Tony was in Iron Fish, and also my aunt Priscilla as well, and also mum, not so much in Iron Fish. However, she does have a pretty strong knowledge around investing. So that's probably how I got into the investing world as well. Fingers crossed, everything goes to plan. I'll have my first investment property settled next October. So that'll be my first one, and pretty excited from that settlement. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Just before we wrap up this first episode, can we draw on your experience in the sense that why should everyone invest? Can you give us, the purpose of investing, and why is it so important to everyone?
Yeah, sure. So I think my first point is that most people from an early age should definitely consider making a start, because again, we've been very fortunate in being able to from an early age. And when you consider the life cycle of a person, straight after you finish uni, you start working. For a lot of people from their early 20s to, let's just say, up until their early to even mid 30s, that 10-15 year block, I think in Australia, most young people would take that opportunity to really have fun, socialize, travel around the world, and rightly so, because that's the stage of life where you have the least financial commitment. All the salary or all the income that you earn would just be spent on yourself. You don't really have to support anyone. So that's the amount of time that most people would have the highest discretionary income. Discretionary meaning the money that comes in, you can 100% spend on things that don't matter, don't have a fixed component. So things like paying rent or paying a mortgage, things you have to spend on. So discretionary is things that you would pay for leisure or travel, things you spend money on to have fun. Because once you get past this stage, generally speaking, life gets more expensive. When you get married, go on a honeymoon, have a partner, your expenses can very quickly add up or double or triple. When you have kids, my goodness, think about that. Put them through school, public school, private school, doesn't matter. I think education in general have a cost attached to that. Supporting a kid from 0 to 18 years of age, certainly that's a big cost. So because of that, I think people's attitude or risk profile decreases as they get older due to more financial obligations. And that's why I think, in my experience and based on my observations at Iron Fish, people in their older, in their mid 30s or early 40s, they are less hesitant typically, or because of financial or family commitments. So we are in a very fortunate position, and I would encourage all young people out there who don't have many financial commitments to really seriously think about how investment can matter, and how investing early from an early age can really make a significant difference and set themselves up for the rest of their lives. Because why it's important is that we earn money throughout our lives, but most people don't know how to keep that money first and foremost. Because I read there was a report recently I think it was done in March or February. Most Australian households, 50% or less, have less than $10,000 in savings. And that's why when the whole coronavirus situation happened, a lot of people lost work, and that had a massive, massive impact on people's ability to carry on lifestyle, because $10,000 doesn't last you a lot if your income stops. So hopefully through this experience, people can see how having a little bit of savings can really prepare themselves for rainy days, so to speak. But savings alone is not going to do it, because savings, it's static. Interest rate is an all-time low. I think the best interest rate account you can get right now is just above 2%, which is pretty much inflation. So you're going nowhere in terms of the growth of your money. And that's where investing really needs to come in, because investing is having the ability to compound your money so it grows exponentially. So imagine your money every year growing by 5, 6, 7%. And that interest that you make, or that money that you make, you keep investing that. So every year, 5, 6, 7% growth, or even more. So that's the power of compound interest. So that really, I think, sums up why investing is important. Setting yourself up financially long term, because I think a lot of people, if you ask the question, oh, how much super do you have and how much is it growing by? Based on my observations, most people would not have a clear answer. And again, with their attitude towards super, so it's almost like they're leaving it to chance, and they are hoping that their super fund is doing well. Because if it's not, then they wouldn't know anyway. So they are hoping that by the time they retire, their super is going to do the job for them. But let's not forget, the objective or the aim of super is to help people to achieve a minimal lifestyle, just enough for them to survive past their retirement years. It's not established to give people a very comfortable or luxurious retirement. So I think, to put it in a very good perspective, do you think that people's super is as high as their yearly income right now? The answer is most likely to be no. So that means you have to cut back your lifestyle dramatically to live within the superannuation that you're getting. So you work so hard through your life, from the age of 21, whatever, to all the way up to 65, 70. That's a good 50 years. And to just have an average retirement at the end, to me, it's not a very terrible outcome. So definitely having some knowledge around investing, and also putting that knowledge into action, is going to be crucial to ensure people's retirements, or having the ability to retire early, because retirement is just a function of your finances. No one says you have to retire at 65 or 70. It's a function of your finances. So the more prepared, the better set up you are financially. It really means you can start enjoying life earlier, maybe in your 50s. So I think that's why it's so important to start understanding the concept around investing and do it well.
Awesome. So you spoke about mindset and having the right mindset for investing. Would you agree, or is it fair to say that, I suppose, most people in our 20s, aren't thinking about the world of investing, or aren't even thinking about investing at all, so that they might even say, oh, I'll do that a little bit later. I'll do that a little bit later. And they just shift that down, very, very low, or to the bottom of their priority list. And then by that time, when they get around to it, they're probably not in the financial position, or probably not ready as they were, early in their lives. Is that a fair statement?
I think statistically that would be, but there are a lot of young people out there who are very motivated because I've helped a few customers at Ironfish that are in their early 20s or mid 20s that have started their investing journey. So I don't want to say all 20-year-olds are not considering investing. Even some of your friends are, are very active investors. So, really credit to them. And when I do meet those people, I feel very happy for them because they've taken the initiative to learn about investing and are doing something about it. Whether they succeed or not succeed, I think that's besides the point because investing it's a bit like a roller coaster. Sometimes it's not just a smooth ride as you have personally experienced, but it's having that initiative, and I think having that experience alone teaches you many things in life, because that is such a unique experience that you can read as much as you want, you can watch as many videos about investing as possible, but until you personally do it and be in the game, whether that's buying your first lot of shares or buying your first property, it just won't feel real and you won't get to ride that roller coaster. So, and for the people who are not considering, I think it comes back to who you surround yourself with. Because imagine, all your friends, all your family, all your colleagues are not investors, then how are you going to get that knowledge or awareness that this is something that you should even consider about? So our CEO Joseph always says, you're the product of your environment, and that's why I chose to join Ironfish. One of the key reasons why I chose to join Ironfish, because at Ironfish, everyone are very prolific investors, almost everyone, and they've been doing it for the past 20, 30 years. People like Priscilla, our auntie, she has so much knowledge in regards to investing, and she's been able to help so many customers during her time at Ironfish. So it's that experience that you can't replicate by reading or watching a video, that real life experience. And I made a decision to be part of that environment because I want to get to their level as fast as I could, and that's what really drawn me to joining an organization like Ironfish, where they're all active investors, not just people who say to do this, do that, but not actually do it themselves.
Okay, awesome. So I think we might stop it there just for our first episode. Again, what Tony and I are trying to do here is to provide everyone out there, around the world of investing and how to get into it, and different things that come up and can arise, the benefits and everything else that comes under that. Again, as I stated at the start, the umbrella notion of investing. So we'll leave it there. Hopefully you guys got a really good insight into what we're trying to do and what our aim is and how we can provide you value. As we lead into our next episode, I think we'll discuss a lot more in detail about the common obstacles when it comes to investing, the misconceptions, mistakes, fears, and also, I suppose, the fundamentals of investing and, where to start and how to go about it. We got a bit of an insight into Tony's thinking about how people should start. It's first of all their mindset, and then everything else can come from that. So thank you for your time, Tony. Any last comments or any closing comments before we wrap this up?
No, I think it's a really good starting point, and I trust that this has been useful for many people who would watch this. This is only the start, and I look forward to sharing a lot more over the next coming episodes. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Not a problem at all. Have a good day, Tony. Have a good weekend. I'll see you on Sunday for Mother's Day. I don't know what we're going to get her yet, but we've got to figure that out.
Buy some flowers. All right, cheers,
Okay,
mate.
no worries. Thank you for your time.
Catch you later. See you, mate. Bye.